Welcome to episode 6 of the Random Selection Show. Stu, lower left, Scott, lower right, and the wheels in the upper left. I want to remind everybody that you can listen to this if you're listening on the podcast. You already know this, but if you're watching on video, you can also find the podcast audio version of this on different places: Spotify, Audible, iTunes Store, all that. It's all over the place, and you can add it to your podcast list and listen anytime you want. Okay. Quick updates. I have an update. We were just talking about this. I'm just going to show this because I don't know how much I can show of this as well. I'd like to show it and do some videos about it to hype it up, but I will be playtesting Star Leader. Actually, we'll all be playtesting. That's the plan. Scott and Stu and myself. Star Leader. At least as soon as I get it vassalized so we can actually play it. But I have the rules and I have a physical kit being sent to me, but it's hard to play test a physical kit if you don't have a lot of players around. So it is happening, people. It is happening. That's my update. What are you guys up to?
Getting my camera working.
Look, you did.
Fucking camera.
You got it working this time, though. That's good.
3 days to get my camera working. I was thinking about what videos I could start making again, but that lasted about 15 seconds.
That's it. That's
it. I just fizzled out. I have difficulty sleeping beginning of the week. So
failing your morale checks.
Failing all types of morale checks. I think I ELR'd twice.
Desperation morale.
Yeah.
You playing in that tournament, or is that done? Still doing that?
No, that's done. That's
done.
Okay. And I think John Garlick kicked everyone's ass. He's a good player. He's fun to play against, and I played him twice. And I think we split the games. Good player, very good player.
Cool. How about you, Scott? Work, right?
Just lots of work. Lots of work.
Man.
No time for playing games.
Well, that's not true. We are. I sent you a vassal file for a playtest that we're going to do for Lafayette Bridge.
Yeah. I don't have enough time.
True.
To play games. Whether
Lafayette Bridge sees the light of day, I don't know, but we're fiddling around with it. We'll see.
Someday.
Yeah.
I do like that Chef DuPont's pretty cheap, to be honest. Speaking about new expansions and shit. It's about what they should. I think I've made some comments on it. But anyway, yeah.
The Lafayette Causeway thing, by the way, is for starter kit. It's a little starter kit mini. I should show the map. Maybe next time I'll show the map. I'll pop it up as an update and say, here's the map, and we're doing this little mini historical, maybe for starter kit. Maybe you'll see the light of day someday. Yeah.
Well, you can pop it up on the end. Make people stick around.
Yeah, I can pop it up at the end. Yeah, little teaser, or not teaser, but a little carrot to get others forward to the end. I want to see the map.
Like and comment to see map porn at the end of the episode.
Okay, you guys ready to see what we're going to talk about? Bullshit about today?
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. I predict Neal will start yet again.
Okay, shuffle.
No, he's rigged it. He's rigged it so he won't get picked.
Exactly, like 0% chance and bullshit like that.
Oh shit.
Scott.
Shit.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Now what is the topic? Oh, one change. Stu, you made a recommendation to change the size of our wedges, and I kind of did that, but I did it a little bit differently. Size of our wedgies.
Holy shit, Scott's low.
So yeah, the way I'm going to do it is, so Scott, it landed on Scott, I think the first episode.
Right.
So every time it lands on one of us, I'll take away points and give it to the other guys. So if it lands on Scott again, I'll take points away from him and give it to us, and his wedge will get even smaller.
His wedgie?
Yeah. And our sizes will shift depending on if it lands on us or not. Don't say it. Okay,
let's
ready?
Do it.
Let me shuffle it up here.
Oh, that's a good image. Go, baby. Come on, no whammies. No whammies.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, this would be interesting.
This isn't if I won the lottery, I'd buy a Ferrari. It's if you won the lottery, what would you do with ASL? How would you contribute to ASL?
How much would I have to win?
Good
5 million?
question. Yeah, enough to do what you want.
Okay.
So if you
I
won
win the
like
lottery and I have X amount of money to spend.
if you won the Mega Millions or whatever,
Oh, okay, yeah,
Powerball,
okay,
and
okay.
it's you won 500 million or whatever, something something
Alright,
big,
so unlimited,
not like a scratcher type of thing. Yeah,
Gotcha,
big money.
gotcha.
What would you do? I guess I get to
Mm.
go first.
Excellent.
I've actually thought about this. There's a lot of debate, not debate, but chatter all over the place on the different communities about MMP's licensing fee, right? And the
Oh.
whole third party that they don't have to pay licensing fees, but they're publishing ASL material. And MMP pay, I don't know how much they pay for a licensing fee, but Kurt makes a point all the time that they have to pay either licensing fee or a percentage. I don't know exactly how it works, right? But it cuts into obviously their margin and maybe how many people they can hire to work on different things, that all of that, right? So if I won the lottery, we're talking big money, I would go to Hasbro and say, how much, not for the license, how much to buy ASL from them? Not license it. How much do you want? And I own ASL at that point. And from then, what would I do? I don't know. Well, maybe we'll circle back to that after you guys go. What I would do if I owned the ASL IP, not license.
You drop a check.
What would you do, Stu or Scott, if you won the lottery?
Good,
Anything,
Scott.
anything theoretical.
If I won the lottery,
Yeah,
I'd probably move to the south of France. I mean, I don't know.
and buy a Ferrari.
Fuck ASL. Yeah, living in cruising the streets of Monaco in my Ferrari, and
I knew Scott would go off topic. He's in the
That's
weeds.
pretty small. Monaco's pretty small.
I don't
You look
know.
like 25 miles an hour.
I've got 2 complete collections, so I wouldn't be buying any more. I don't know. I'd just retire and I'd be playing
Yeah,
ASL
you get to play
12
more.
hours, 14, 16 hours a day. Yeah.
Okay, here's one way to look at it. There are things about ASL you must not like, from whatever point of view, gameplay or how it's published or whatever. If you had $500 million, what would you do to change that?
I've thought about this, but I don't know if I think about somehow changing it, making it better, but I don't know. You start fucking with it, and then it's like, I think all you do is screw it up. I don't know. Yeah, I'd just leave it alone, I guess.
Okay.
No
Stu.
3rd edition.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. Ever since Kurt mentioned the large ASL, his idea about that, which I think is cool, but I wish they would have, done it with starter kit when it first came out. 20 some years ago.
That was an opportunity.
I mean, they had some other tactical games that were large hex size about that time as well. So why the hell not? But why change from the old 70s format? But
How about you, Stu?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything you?
I would do a number of things.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think number one, well, obviously you buy it so you control it all. Yeah, because the next step would have to go this way.
Well, you wouldn't control it.
I'd own it. I'd own it.
You wouldn't be
outright.
doing
I'd
it to get rich. You're already be rich, and ASL probably
Right.
doesn't make that
Well,
amount of money. You wouldn't care about the money necessarily.
Yeah,
right?
well, you would use it as a tax, laundering, money laundering situation because you dump a shitload of money into it and not get anything out of it. So that'd be definitely a tax write-off, but you have so much money you have to worry about it. So I'd actually go, buy a warehouse and have shit in stock and not have to worry about, or buy a warehouse right next to GMT and put shit in stock because they don't seem to have a problem with it. But I think the first thing, not that I go to a lot of tournaments, but to expand this bullshit that they got going on now.
Oh, hold
and
on. I didn't start the timer. Go ahead.
Okay, well,
I think we've been going for like 5 minutes. Okay, go ahead.
no worries. So I would just right off the top of my head, I'd go for having sanctioned fucking tournaments. So, and then have uniform, guidelines on written freaking guidelines, and compile all the people together that run the solid tournaments, get together and get a solid guideline. If they can't agree, then I'm picking one, and that's go screw yourself. So then have sanctioned tournaments. B, freaking YouTube this shit. Televise the tournaments, not necessarily all the snoozers that are in the place. Some change some of the venues, get a little bit better venues. Some of them look like closets. When I see people bringing their own freaking lights and trying to watch the game, make sure all that shit changes. I would ramp that shit up like crazy and make it almost like the World Series of Poker sort of thing. But I definitely would have like the hot seat of the day, following a player, or like mic'd up or some shit like that. I'd have one player mic'd up one game, one player mic'd up the other game, and stream the tournament. Essentially, stream the tournament and then YouTube the tournament. Have like little interviews, and you hire people to do this shit to promote the game, man. And put some history with it, in terms of the like, say if it was a themed tournament of Normandy or whatever, right? And have like some videos before, or snippets that you would send you to other media outlets about, trying to teach history, and this is why we're playing the game that we're doing. And then highlight players, pick their brains on shit, and stuff like that. And huge freaking cash prizes. You show up, we get 20, get a starter kit tournament going at the same time. You show them if you got 500 million, and let's say you get what to do with WBC, right? But it's, I think, about 50 years too late. But freaking, well, if I got that much money, I could pay for everyone's airfare to show up. So you register, you come, you get, you don't have the rights to your image. We're going to use your image, also the bullshit, but we'll pay for you to get here and participate in our event, our sanctioned events. There will be cash prizes.
Stu's generous.
Hold on, nerds. Yeah. I mean, you got $500 million. What's that gonna take? I won't mention about the age and how long it'll actually last, but you could do that easily you could lose $10 million a year for 5-10 years, and that's only like $50-60 million. That's a big deal. I mean, 10%. By that time, I've already earned that. But yeah, I mean, $50 million, that'd be nothing. And then get all the third party guys, make sure they can release stuff under my format, but obviously they would get a big chunk of the change out of that.
So,
and if they didn't,
you would fold like the third party guys. How would you do that? You would have to submit. You'd have to publish with the MMP or whatever you called it after that, right?
They'd be like a subsidiary. Yeah, I'd put them in like a subsidiary, but they'd have to do the guidelines and all this sort of stuff. Usually they do a great job. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not, whatever. But it's just making sure everyone uses the same formats. You'd pay for the printing. So all the printing, all the counters are the same. Enlarged maps. Have a whole series of enlarged maps at steep discounts, because that way people can get into it instead of having to pay $50 per map. Because money's really not going to be an issue there. It's more like, okay, we put in our 30 years time. Here's what you get at the end of the journey or near the end of the journey. Fucking cha-ching, and this is your reward. But, and like I say, put everybody under the same roof. And if they want to print shit out. I've got $500 million to sue the living shit out of you.
You know,
So
okay, so you would, okay, that's an interesting point. So if you, or if I or you owned the IP, would you, yeah, would you take that tactic? Would you say, I own it now, not Hasbro, because I think Hasbro for the most part is hands off. They're like ASL, we don't care. MMP sends us a check every quarter or whatever it
right,
is. They
right.
they don't pursue any IP claims. Would you make that threat to third party and say you come under this umbrella or
Yeah,
else
absolutely.
type of thing?
But the thing is I would give them a bigger chunk of the change. They would be my developers because I mean, look at what's been produced the last 5 to 10 years. It's all
Yeah,
third party stuff. I mean,
there's some
I
good
got all
stuff out
types of
there.
bounding fire shit, and there's like 40 scenarios per thing. It takes a lot of time to make, man. These guys gotta get paid for their work, and
Yeah,
I'll pay you. You submit your shit, and because a lot of these guys got tons and tons of campaigns sitting on their shelves, they just can't develop, and they need the capital, and I'm the capital will develop that shit, but it falls under Stu's ASL, and but they'll probably get paid double or triple from what it's worth.
you
$100 thing. Keep the price low, but I'll subsidize it. Again, you're just going to use the write off anyway. So
know what else I would
because you're
do
not making money on it.
if it was under Neal ASL? I
No
would
ASL, yep.
I would either do something like you would do, bring them under an umbrella type of thing, or have them pay licensing now as well. Whoever it is, some licensing fee, and it probably wouldn't be a blanket license. It'd probably be a percentage as a license
Right.
fee, and then I would take that license fee money and put it into
Oh, prize money.
yeah, you could do prize money, but I was thinking like into some escrow account, and you use that account to fund a vassal development team, and you make vassal
Oh,
because lots of players. I think it's another topic on the wheel over there.
yeah.
Did vassal save ASL for all those years and people being able to play and still buy the stuff but still play? I think vassal is very important for the hobby, and I would
Mhm.
figure out a way to either use money or skim money off, as a licensing fee, and you put that in a pool to hire, pay people to just make vassal
Right.
completely kick ass.
Yeah, full time because a
Yeah.
lot of these guys retired anyway. You just freaking here do since you're doing Vassal anyway, spend 100% of the time and get the resource you need to. Again, like how much money does Bounding Fire spend a year to produce, a product or two with, how many copies they make? Hell, I don't know. Let's say 2,000 copies. What's the cost? 50 grand?
Yeah.
Shit. I'll drop them 100 grand and, hire 50 grand is your bonus. It's 100 grand is nothing if I've got $20 million I'm investing in it.
Or
That's chump change.
I would attempt to bring vassal under the same umbrella, right?
Oh, absolutely,
And
absolutely. A
and
Vassal
own
will 100% be
and
under.
own it or somehow.
Yeah.
And
And, pay Rodney Kinney for his hard
yeah,
work and his love and everybody else that's been producing it because literally half of us wouldn't be here if it weren't for Vassal, and
and,
and
and,
half of us still can't be here if it's not for Vassal.
and vassal would get all the high res graphics, maps,
Oh,
counters,
100%.
charts, everything, right?
Yeah.
It would look kick ass.
And shit, just tie the rulebook into Vassal. The rulebook, have its voice recognition. How the fuck do I overrun, a unit in the woods and pops the rules right there, or just speaks it in a sexy Scott voice.
Yeah.
You fucking
Uh,
dingleberry.
I'd start the ASL University 4-year school to
Yeah. Oh, that's
it
another thing
needs
I
it.
do is
ASL.
put out scholarships for students into wargaming. And the ASL will be like the AP class, right? But you would start them, honestly, just wargaming history majors, things like that. Just throw shitloads of cash in that, and just for people to get into that, and then wargaming would be part of the curriculum. But that would be somebody else's ball of wax to manage. But yeah, 100%, because that's where you're going to get your players from, right? School. You meet your buddies at school. Where did you guys meet? At school, and then you start playing together, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm not going to go to a hobby store and meet some crony. It probably smells all high heavens, probably, got some Cheetos on his fingers and shit. I'm not gonna, grab a chair with that guy and say, "Hey, let's game, baby."
So
That's not gonna happen too often.
if you owned it, back to the vassal question,
Oh
this
yeah.
just came into my head. To make it kick ass, right? I'm thinking standalone, not requiring the vassal engine, not a module. It's just a completely standalone, its own thing now, and it's all beautiful looking, high resolution graphics. Maybe even some ability to do some 3D, like tabletop simulator, or at least an option that you could
So
look
like
at it in 3D.
second front with a freaking mega bonus.
Yeah, something like that. But
Yeah.
but higher resolution graphics. Would you consider having that be a service, like a subscription service, or pay to buy it, and then all that money goes back into developing it, keeping it developed as well,
I'd
or
probably do
keep it
subscription
free?
service.
What would you do?
Yeah, I would probably do subscription service. Although again, you don't need to if I'm going to drop 20 mil on it, but
Right.
do a subscription service, minimal, minimal cost. People are, I mean, they donate to our channels and things like that, so it's nothing much more than that. Plus, that helps you, again, you don't really need to return the cost for it, but you have to be able to use some sort of cost to be able to write something off.
Yeah, you need
Yeah,
some
that'd be great.
sustainability, I guess.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah,
you have a
because
big pile of money, you still want some
yeah, it
sustainability.
can't be technically nonprofit, but I mean that's the finance bullshit. I don't really know anything about that. But yeah, absolutely. You go computer age because again, you got to get some new people, and my sons are always on Steam, dude. They live on
Yeah.
Steam.
Yep.
They live on Steam. I mean, come on now, let's be real.
I mean, we're always
And
on
then
Steam too, because
yeah,
we play other games.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, I would take tabletop simulators already kind of like right there, and just go the next step. And I have verse like sort of like what you do in the computer version. I have like for the miniatures guys, I would click. Do you want to use 3D images, and it would kind of like do a 3D image, sort of like second front. For the people that like that sort of thing, to say, hey, because there's a lot of guys that they do their dioramas of their hills, and I think Ritter's got a couple of those, and some of the guys have giant renditions. Put that in, there's an option to get that visually motivated person to come on. Get rid of the old shit counters, you might have some sort of designation on them. I mean, like second front, you don't have 4, 6, 7 on your frontline squads.
No.
It just has firepower and dots. Just use something. Once you know what your German first line units, everyone can tell you everything about a first line unit. You will really need the numbers. But
So would you do a graphics revamp, or not a blanket revamp, but start the new stuff in
yeah, you probably have to. I think you really have
new
to.
format?
Yeah, you'd have to
attract
be
younger
able to
players.
See it. Right, you'd have to. Yeah, exactly. World of Tanks is again something that you can also do. I love playing that just from the rendition of the tanks. It just
Even
work
with all
awesome.
the fucking cheaters.
Well, no, it won't be World of Tanks, but it would be
Hey.
like those renditions. If you want the Char B, you can, like I say, click on it, and you just have the Char B like on the counter if you want, like a 3D image on the counter. And I mean, because some of these vehicles, I mean, good God, I'm not a big history dude, but when I look on the top of a counter, like any Russian counter for that matter, you look on top of there, what the fuck is that? Especially in Cross of Iron, they've got like the counter, and they've got like two pips in the corner, and that's like an armored car. It's like a BA-64 or something like that. It's like, what the fuck does that look like? A person that's not involved or not familiar with World War II history. I mean, I'm familiar just a little bit. I have no clue what the hell that is, and I know it's an armored car. And so you'd have to have that 3D image to capture people that are way beyond, you got to understand that the Gulf War is essentially the equivalent to our World War II,
Yeah.
where we grew up in the 70s, 30 years ago was World War II. What's 30 years ago from today? The fucking Gulf War, so it's that, even today, people can't even tell you what when the Gulf War was, so it's like, another 80, 90 years. Jesus Christ, it's like the Napoleonic Wars.
Yeah. So,
You know,
so Scott, is this discussion sparking any more ideas for you? What you would do if you were a half billionaire?
Yeah, I'd like to see somebody develop a like a solitaire option for Vassal. You know, where you play AI.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
fact, if you could do it to where you have, this would help with playtesting. If you could have the computer play both sides, and you could play test your scenarios for you to make
Dude,
it a lot easier.
play test the scenario in like 5 seconds,
Yeah,
and you
boom.
get the results.
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
that
Actually,
will be possible. That will be possible.
It will be possible someday. You would just play test. You just plug in the scenario and you say run 10,000 plays, and it'll do every conceivable tactic and whatever, and it'll come out and say
Yeah.
the balance is 49-51 or 20-80. Probably
And then submit those to Roar so everyone plays your scenario tournaments.
Yeah.
Was that sarcasm?
That's the hardest, because that's the hardest part about designing scenarios is doing all the playtesting.
Yeah, it is. Since we've been doing it.
Or choking it down after you're typing in the thing play tested by, and then you just pull random names off of the ASL player ratings list. And then submit it this critical hit or some shit like that.
Well, no, they don't even list it. They don't even list it. Anything.
You know,
They don't even. Okay, you're getting me down another rat hole here.
Oh yeah.
They don't even list when you go to their website and look at a product, right? The image is like a fucking postage stamp. You can't really tell what the map is, right? And then they don't list what's actually in it, right? And then
they probably don't know.
and then if you buy it, I primarily buy used Critical Hit off of eBay now.
Yeah.
Because I like the older maps, not the new panel. But I have bought a few of the panel map modules, the newer stuff. And what you get isn't what's listed on the damn website for the page. It's just random shit.
It's like a grab bag, man. Just keep throwing money at and whatever they pull off the shelf.
That's another topic. I should add it to the list.
Yeah.
We can bitch about Critical Hit for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I would just drop it. I mean, instead of, because like you say, you got plenty of copies. I would drop a shitload of stuff, and if they don't want money, have people are, they don't even need Viagra when you say they get free dice, at a tournament or something like that. So it'll just, just stuff like that, be able to support some of these other people that are supporting the hobby, the 3D imagers, Ritter Vault, and all the precision dice and other stuff like that. People have like the 3D printed shit. I would develop all that, or have those other guys develop. I obviously wouldn't develop it, but have somebody develop that shit. And that way there's another money stream for them that they could, if you want to do that sort of thing, you can earn money that way. And that way people don't have to worry about the price of the freaking modules. They just buy all the bling that goes along with it. I think you could really explode that market, especially with the 3D printing now. It's ridiculous.
I would bundle the rule book with Beyond Valor.
Oh, 100%.
At least make it an option. You can't. They're connected. There should be a bundle option, maybe at a slight discount or something, right? Or if you go with the super duper.
Where's e-rule book it, right? Because there's a cost to produce.
Yeah.
Just e-rule book it.
Or if you go with the super duper vassal that comes out later, if it's a subscription, give them the rulebook for free if they're paying a subscription, something like that.
100%. Yeah.
A lot of the rules, like a lot of the I think all the GMT rules, all their rule sets are free on the website. I mean, you can read them, but you can't play the game. I guess you can play on Vassal. You don't have the scenarios, but the rulebooks are all free.
You do not have the scenarios. Combat Commander, I know, has like this pretty much all the setups but the card, and you don't have the chart. I think the newest version has a lot of the
official
charts
on the website.
Right,
they have the setups official.
They do. They do not have the scenario card, but they have like the terrain benefits, the reinforcement groups and shit like that. They have everything but the scenarios.
But do they have vassal
And we-
setups?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah.
whatever their
Click,
module is called.
Whatever the scenarios. Yeah, they
combat
only have like
commander module.
150 scenarios.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So they've got all the module sets, and you just click on, whatever the heck case may be, Mediterranean, boom, and all the scenarios pop up, and then you click the scenario, and it loads fucking everything but you don't know what the VCR stuff like that.
Right.
Vaguely you do, but I mean, only one of you guys needs a scenario card, and you're just 100% up and running. It's like, with the vassal saves, setup files, but these are the old ones that actually work and don't have a lot of errors in it. But of course, again, you're dealing with 120 scenarios. That would be easy to clean and refine.
Yeah.
And so they've been doing a couple of changes. I think I would like to think that I put a spark in some of the vassal development of Combat Commander in terms of just little tidbits like, this is getting off the topic, but things like that. But yeah, but you can literally just, that's what you would do. You would kind of have the same thing. You would do that in vassal too, where you would do, I want a scenario and click, instead of where the maps are, just click, module. What module do you want to play? Beyond Valor, boom.
Yeah.
What house do you want to play? Boom. And then it would drop down scenario, boom, and then you'd fucking have all that shit set up.
Yeah.
It would just like pop right up.
I like Scott's.
That way.
Sorry, I like Scott's AI idea.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Linked with that, right? You just load it up, load what you want to play. Do I want to play my buddy, across the country? Do I want to play solo or, against myself, or do I want to play AI? Right? And the way AI is getting these days is probably, given the right training, and I don't know exactly how it works, but training it and doing some programming, there's got to be a way for it to learn, at least at a starter kit level, to be able to play against a human, right? They write, when you play a game online or a computer game, it's not AI, but it's programming. They call it AI because the NPCs or whatever are reacting to you. There should be a way at this point with true AI to be able to get them to play at least starter kit, basic ASL against another human. I think that would be close.
Instead of Hal, it could be hassle.
Hey. Heuristic ASL.
Yeah, I think the AI would be phenomenal, especially for the solitaire crews.
That is a topic on the wheel, so we'll dig into that if it pops up. Yeah,
excellent.
Whole topic.
It will.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think it would just develop. Everyone says, "Oh, we don't have the money, can't do this, too expensive." All that shit goes out the window. So get your items out there. And again, I think the primary thing that I would attack first and before anything else is just doing the tournament scene, getting it out there, getting it essentially quote televised or on the web, and create central locations where communication can be had, and develop the online tournaments, things like that, which some people that may not be able to physically go for whatever reason, because it can't be gone for a couple of days or whatever, but develop all that stuff and go from there, and then see it explode, and then that way you don't have to completely waste all your money doing shit that's never going to attune to anything.
Would you spend some
probably
money?
Get a.
Go ahead, Scott.
You could probably get a tournament televised on the Ocho, ESPN Ocho.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
Wait a minute. You brought this up before. That
beanbag shit. So why not?
Does that still exist? Is it a real thing? I know it did exist.
The Ocho?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Still a thing.
I've seen they've televised. They do like the stair sliding crap, and there's just
what's stair sliding?
You just grease up a bunch of people and they slide downstairs. Yeah.
Are
So
those the
it's
same guys that do the soapbox videos? I
The
see like
Flieger.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, they do like soapbox things. They show like the massive crashes of these guys. It's hilarious.
they'll probably televise anything if you pay them.
Yep.
And people tune in and be
Like,
like, "What
yeah,
the hell is this?"
you'd have to have commentators, but yeah.
Well, one of the guys I watch on YouTube, they're just strange as shit. I mean, he's got his little channel. He's a hoof trimmer. He trims hoof off of animals, and he's got like 4 million subscribers.
Oh
He'd make
yeah,
a
yeah.
fucking boatload of money.
I don't
I
think
mean,
it's
nice
gonna
guy.
happen. I don't think it's gonna happen with ASL.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. We'll just do hoof trimming in the back, and then playing ASL in the front, and hoof trimming will be behind us.
Well, if you have that much money, you have to invest a little bit in of it to try to make the game less intimidating to people. Because I think there's a lot of wargamers. Almost every wargamer's heard of ASL, but I think they're afraid to even try it. They're like, "Oh, that game is too complicated. It's too much overhead. Blah blah blah." You should spend some money. Like, I don't know how you would do it, but
I know,
showing that
perfect way.
the game is not as it's only as complex as you make it.
The perfect way is we're going to go through Scott's development through schools and get a whole bunch of hot chicks and learn ASL
It's
that
like
way.
Yeah.
ASL
Cheerleaders.
cheerleaders.
No ASL masters, and they're like, yeah,
You just gotta know how to market it. You could have ASL deathmatch, played
yeah,
in
exactly, exactly.
You got the Thunderdome. Two
Yeah,
men enter, one
exactly.
man
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
uh, time is up. Time's up. I think we got about
Oh
30
man.
minutes. I forgot to hit the timer at the start.
Oh,
It's all good.
it's 10:30.
So
Holy shit! We'll just go until Scott falls asleep, and we know it's time.
it's probably
Oh, I
close.
fell asleep 20 minutes ago.
When I spun the wheel, he fell asleep. Closing remarks. Do I go first because I went first? Yeah, none of this is ever going to happen because we're not going to win the lottery, but it's
No.
fun to talk about. I do play I rarely play the lottery, but when one of them gets up to a billion, I go plop down a 20 just for the hell of it, because you never know. And when that happens, I actually think about some of this stuff. Like, it's free. If I got that much money, you could free up ASL. Just buy it from Hasbro and do whatever you wanted. Which would be fun. I don't know how much Hasbro would charge, but you got that much money, it probably wouldn't
Just
matter.
buy Hasbro.
I think, yeah, Hasbro's worth quite a bit. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good chunk.
Yeah.
If you got $1 billion and
No, they're probably worth tens of billions, is my guess.
Yeah, they own like everything.
Yeah, they're huge. That's why I think they don't pay attention to ASL at all.
Yeah.
For the most part. Stu,
Yeah, they're Chutes and Ladders, 20th edition Chutes and Ladders.
closing
Yeah,
thoughts on winning the lottery.
win lotto. I would like again starting out the roof. I would do sanctioned tournaments, regional tournaments, and like qualifiers. It's sort of like the Settlers of Catan qualifiers, where you have regional. You get game conventions around. The winners just give them a free ticket, and so you could have like 5 people from each area, free ticket to the official Stu's ASL tournament, and televise that shit, which they should do, which they can do now, to be honest with you. Not just at WBC, but I think every tournament should be required to show at least their championship round to help promote ASL through MMP.
Yeah.
And MMP supports them, sponsors them. It would get more people out there, so show all the stuff that they sell there and the whole 9 yards. But just at first televise it first, spend money like that for free, and then develop it and then explode after that.
I forgot to mention that not having buying ASL, the IP, and not having a license fee, that would enable MMP to hire more people. However much they're spending, you'd be able to hire more people if you're not paying a direct license fee to Hasbro. Hire more people, get products out sooner, maybe a more variety of products, which what we're really talking about is hazels at this point. You know, core modules are
Yeah.
done. I don't know
Yeah.
what else to add, right? So get some interesting hazels in there, and a mixture of hazels, not maybe some big ones, maybe some small ones. You know, everything in between to make everyone interested in trying out hazels. Scott, anything else? Are you Betty time?
If I won the lottery, sadly, I don't know if I would spend too much of it on ASL. I just,
Well, no. This is assuming theoretically we won the lottery and we're ASL fanatics and we wanted to do this. Not I'm gonna go hang out in Spain or something.
well, I mean, I'd buy a sailing yacht, and I would probably sail around the world, and I would play ASL on my yacht. But
You'd
I
be
don't
playing
know if I
solo
would.
then.
Think of it like Brewster's Millions. You have to spend 20 million
Yeah.
to get the rest of your lotto winnings.
Exactly.
So it has to be on
There you
ASL.
go. I should have proposed that. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to spend, 100 million of it on ASL before you get the rest. What would you do to improve it or whatever?
Before the end of the year.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. And you couldn't make a profit, which would probably be pretty easy with ASL.
Exactly.
Not making a huge profit. All right, gentlemen. That's it for episode 6. Say sayonara or whatever.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Get to the chopper!
If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you saw, thanks for watching, and let me know how I can do better. See you in the next video.